Oh, hello and welcome and welcome and hello and welcome and hello. Thank you for joining me on a very special edition of Un Poco Moss, the show where we bring you just a little bit more. I was very busy working today and I looked down and I realized I got kicked square in both nuts with a steel toe boot. Took it on the chin, SMCI, Neo. Sofi was down and then recovered, but a lot of my stocks down. No big deal. Took the opportunity to go ahead and buy the dip as I'm wont to do. Um, so let's take a look at what we're dealing with. Now, there was an article out on Investors Business Daily. I don't know if Yahoo picked it up. Let's see. Yeah, here it is. Um, so, in my opinion, Investor Business Daily's technical analysis is not that useful. I mean, and I'll tell you, let's take a look at this article and I'll tell you exactly why. Um, I don't know what all this crap is. They're always trying to sell your. I can't give out no information, IBD. So it says they slipped again on Tuesday shares. I don't know. Where the first slip was because the stock been going up like 4 sessions in a row. Oh my gosh, just inundating you with ads. But so basically said, I think they're back. Ray Wang, founder and principal analyst, Constellation Research, told IBD Monday of the stock, which reclaimed the 50-day moving average. Monday tumbled again, edging down toward the 21-day line, which again, with this type of volatility, this type of news, this type of momentum, I don't think 21-day line is any use whatsoever. That's just my opinion. The stock's relative strength rating, which was at 91 just 3 months ago, has fallen sharply to 9. Stock is also below declining 200-day moving average. And 200 days is a lifetime for this stock. None of the news, none of the trends, none of the momentum, none of the volume that's affecting the stock now. It's just not a useful metric at all to trade the stock, to invest the stock, to try to pick an entry point for long-term play. Just meaningless to me. Their analysis is meaningless. So, I mean, it's essentially, I wouldn't call it FUD because I mean they are using their criterion, but I just don't find them very useful. This swing trading philosophy, you just try to take the low hanging fruit. I guess it works for them. So anyway, the shares fell sharply late August. The company announced it was delaying the filing of its annual report following prominent short sellers' allegations of SMCI of accounting irregularities. Now, the bulls and the sort of more smoke than fire, nothing to see here, la-di-da, seen this show before, basically saying this is rehashing old news where, the executive was doing business with his brother-in-law and there was some sort of insider dealings and stuff. But I think the point is, sort of the gist of it is, no one is saying the company doesn't make money or that the accounting irregularities are to hide some type of massive losses. That we just haven't heard in terms of the smoking gun. Now, there might be one person who ends up getting in trouble. There might be some restated financials. There might be some, pressure in terms of the projections they're putting out. But I think long term, they have a best-in-breed solution for these data centers using NVIDIA Blackwell chips and NVIDIA's last ER. If nothing else, the CEO said, look, this demand is growing, it's unrelenting, and it's going to go on for years. And, that bodes really well for SMCI fundamentally. Like there's no fundamental reason for the stock to have, gone up over 100% in the last, little over a week. But one could just as easily argue there was no fundamental reason for the stock to get chopped down, 2/3 of its value based on the Hindenburg report. Because even if you believe the veracity of their assertions, it still doesn't go to the fundamental fact that this company can still make money for a long time, even if there are some problems with the financial statements, even if they're delisted from the NASDAQ. It doesn't change the fact that NVIDIA is going to do business with them and NVIDIA's customers are going to do business with them if they're able to deliver these installations in such a way that the product is superior to what anyone else can deliver. I don't think people are that, ethics concerned when it comes to who puts in their servers. I think they just want, the best product, the best price, the cutting edge, the state of the art, the most efficient, the most cost effective, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So they've been so battered down. We got Mr. Wang. No offense. They've been so battered down. Wang told IBD, I think the accounting issues are resolved, so people are less worried. The accounting issues are not resolved at all, as far as I can see. The accounting worries hit when, sorry guys, I'm super tired, I can barely see. What had been one of the high flyers of the AI craze, Supermicro quickly emerged from one of the main beneficiaries, as one of the main beneficiaries of the AI juggernaut, together with companies like NVIDIA, Microsoft, and Google. If you're just trying to figure out derivatives on AI, NVIDIA growth, Supermicro is going to be one of the winners, Wang said. If you're a portfolio manager and you're looking at AI stocks to go after, you're going to want to look at Supermicro. I mean, this thing, it's a direct play on the demand for these chips, the demand for data centers. And this demand is unrelenting, it's growing, and Supermicro is going to be there, I think. I don't think this company is going out of business, even if they are delisted. Make no mistake, Supermicro isn't just Dell's competitor. They're the competitor for AI servers. Milius research analyst Ben Reitzes told clients in a November 4th note, boy, was it one of the big winners when Supermicro auditor resigned. He said, the impact of Supermicro's recent problems on Dell should become clear Tuesday when the tech giant reports its quarterly results. So I don't know. And here, just let's talk about the market. Let's talk about the rally being over. How do you make that call? You make that call based only on today. Still 94 million in volume. And you basically see the stock comes in and hits the low of the day less than an hour after the market opens and gets almost down there at open. And then see, it never gets lower than this. The low of the day is 403, which, you'd think if the bears were really in charge of the stock, they would have stopped everyone out at, 99 cents, but they didn't. The low of the day was 3403, which you'd say is more of a, a bear trap, but it's not, because the stock really consolidated down here. This is not what it's some kind of free fall panic selling, pump and dump, sell the news looks like. The stock is trading sideways, pretty much all throughout the session, other than the first hour. A lot of accumulation. Smart money trying to get in. Media saying the rally's over. I would argue quite the opposite. So let me just show you what my, pea brain is able to cook up. And this is just like, I don't care if you call it Fibonacci, retracement, charting 101, but look at what really happened here. I mean, so you're all the way down. The algo takes it to 775. These dailies are very consistent. They're not panicked. Even when they're trading like 150 million shares, the algo is still just locked on. This is not just crazy day traders or anything like that. So it's, 1775 comes up, $20.50, $22.50, comes all the way up again to $28.50. Okay, so that move was 62%. And then what do you see? It comes from 28.50 and it goes down to 26, roughly 25. So it goes down about $2. And then you see the stock make just another 45% move to the upside from this level, 26.25, all the way up here to where, it's at 37.50. And then what do you see today? Stock drops back, basically, 34.50, whatever you want to call it, comes down $3 instead of, $2.50. This to me is a classic retracement for another leg up. And it's market makers, it's media, it's the FUD spinners trying to convince, retail. Why are they trying to convince retail the rally's over here to dump? If this was a pump and dump and there was a lot to fall, they'd still want retail buying here. and they push it down. It's just, this is a fugazi, guys. This is a, where were you when they built the ladder to heaven? I mean, this does not look like a rally ending to me. And if you look back in terms of the volume, this day, again, that was down. You see a very similar deal with the short algo volume. Okay, today, all the way up, back up to 60. Yesterday, 54, 60, 57. This was that other down day at 55, so even a little bit lower. But they're basically shorting the living piss out of it every day. It's just the volume is down today. But you'd expect that. You expect some retracement. You expect profit taking, 66% move, another 50% move after just a brief checkup, some little bit of consolidation, a little bit of profit taking. With all due respect to Investors Business Daily, you know, I just think it's silly that you call this over. I drew this line the other day, but I think it's going to fill this gap and get back on this trend line. I mean, this trend line has been really in force, you know, for the last year and a half. And these anomalies be damned, things always tend to revert to the mean. And whatever this algo is trying to do, and this algo is trying to do, and this algo is where more of the long-term smart money is on this stock. It's coming back to this trend line. It's coming back to this sort of, you know, $47 level at the minimum, probably more like 54. That's my opinion. I mean, you just have to look at, why is this company going to go out of business? How bad are the accounting issues? That's basically what you're betting on. Is this a everybody goes to prison and they shut the thing down and auction the assets? Or is this a, hey, one guy takes the fall, gets a slap on the wrist, pay a fine, la-di-da, back to business as usual, back to strong growth, back to being the best in breed solution for these NVIDIA Blackwell chips? What do you guys think? All two of you that are here. The media is just in full FUD mode, hold, sell. You see, guys, all these positive articles, November 19, November 20, November 21, and then recently a lot of very negative articles. You see maximum pain for this Friday, $30.50. So you think market makers want to push down. It's not necessarily true, because market makers can be on different sides of this trade, also hedging, but it's just all over the place. A lot of that's dead money. A lot of calls at 40. I don't know why there's so many calls at 40, a lot at 37, a tremendous amount of calls at 35. So they definitely want to keep it down under there. Now, I don't think 30 is realistic with what I'm seeing. I mean, didn't seem to want to go under 34 at all, or they didn't want it to go under 34. I don't know what it's doing. Yeah, it's back up 1%, almost to 35 bucks or 44 cents overnight on Robinhood. So if the thing's selling off, if everybody wants to dump the stock, if the rally's fizzled and over, and you know, fear grips the stock again, I don't see why retarders are buying it on Robinhood from one another in this circle jerk overnight, pushing the price back up. Profit taking's normal, retracing normal, but there's no indication, at least in my mind, this rally's over. It's kind of basically the same thing it did here, a little bit more severe, but it wants to come back up to this area. That's where it wants to go. Let's take a look at what they did today. So volume 93 million. Borrowed change, they borrowed 4.38 million. Now, availability was actually getting a little bit lower, had moved down from 10s to the 7s and all the way down to 5 million. More shares became available. There's a broker not just paying like 0.02 negative cost to borrow, but 0.58 cost to borrow. So they're actually, you know, paying people quite a bit to short the stock. I don't know. There's some very, very powerful market forces, I think, that want to push down, but I think this is one of those things where, let's say, momentum's a hell of a drug, and there's a hell of a big gap there. And if the accounting issues are not severe and they're going to be resolved, and especially if they're going to remain listed on the NASDAQ, this company, 54 is really still way underpriced. So a lot of people are just willing to roll the dice and risk it. And this pullback, if you think the stock's going to 54, just pulled back to 34, might look at as a good entry point. I don't know. I think the smart money is probably don't buy here. I think it could retrace quite a bit more, because if you really look at the move, I mean, coming off of 17 all the way running out of steam at 39 and kind of consolidating there today, 37.50, going ahead and pulling back to 34, 34.50 really isn't that huge of a pullback whatsoever. I mean, you're only giving back $4 and you just, moved up over 20 in just a week. So you're only giving back 20%, which is, to me, that's a classic retracement, consolidation, profit taking. You go from the very short-term traders to sort of longer term, maybe more swing traders, maybe some long-term in there. But the money stabilizes, the stock stabilizes, but the money still goes in. The momentum is still there. 100 million shares of the stock churned is not insignificant. Who wants this thing more? Bulls, retail turds, options traders. How much are they willing to short it? I mean, if they came out, they get back in compliance. I mean, it's going to be a really tough short if the math is there and the profits are real and the growth is real. I mean, this thing is priced right now like there's no growth, and they're already making money. So for something stock that's really just balls deep in this AI revolution and joined at the hip with NVIDIA, this pricing really doesn't make any sense unless these accounting issues are very, very severe, and heads are going to roll and people are going to jail and everything's going to be restated and a lot of these numbers are fake. But the hardware they're putting in, these installations, these clients, this business is real. This isn't some deal where they're making radar detectors out of their mom's garage somewhere in the Midwest. Anyway, I have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. What the hell just happened? I don't know. This thing's bouncing all over the place. It's like, yeah, no, still just under $35. So it's kind of, meeting some resistance there, even in the overnight trading. But the overnight trading is, it's very, very low volume. It's just returners swatting the ball back and forth to one another. Guys, by the way, this horrible broadcast, soon Poco Moss. Yeah, I bought the dip again on NEO again today. Buying way too much NEO, but I just really like what management's saying. They're going to double production next year. What I don't like is, and I don't like it, and I do, is the competition coming in from battery swap. Is CATL going to be able to overtake them? That first model from Chang'an, that's the ride-hailing, sort of the commercial sedan. It's using CATL's Blade battery swap technology, but there's just not hardly any of those battery swaps in existence yet. I know they're talking about trying to get to 2,500 battery swaps by the end of 2027, and then 10,000 battery swaps by the end of 2030. So it sounds like CATL is all in on battery swap, and you consistently hear these rumors. I've heard, I did a video about this, I think a couple months ago, about BYD potentially buying out NEO as sort of a hedge against CATL completely dominating battery swap, battery standard. It would obviously give them, a huge first mover advantage that NEO's had up until this point. What would they pay for it? What would that look like? I don't know. What's going on, Shane? Welcome and hello, Shane. Thanks for joining us. Vladdy Z, how are you, Vladdy? Dr. Cornbread. Man, I have no idea with this one, Shane. How the hell do I know? I don't know anything. I think if they get the books in order, if the NASDAQ accepts their plan, I mean, I think, like I said, I think Jensen from NVIDIA has a hell of a lot of pull over the NASDAQ. And I think everybody knows this. The CEO of this company is his friend. They prefer to do business with them. It's one of their preferred partners, whatever you call it. It just doesn't seem like a company that's going to, be pushed out of business, or the feds are going to wipe them out. It's just I haven't seen any evidence that there's so much new stuff that it's going to really, be an existential threat to the existence of this company. And people are saying, well, nobody's going to want to do business with them because of these accounting irregularities. I mean, I think there'd have to be some sort of indication that it's like an extinction level event. I mean, just if one executive ends up going to Club Fed, for a couple of months or a year, gets a big fine, they have to restate some things. It's not like their data centers stop existing. It's not like their servers, aren't available. These two things kind of exist on, parallel tracks. These legal enforcement matters can sort of run separately from the day-to-day operations, of the company. At least that's kind of what the bulls are saying. Of course, the bears would say, I have my head up my ass. Isoled Energy. Neo, do more on Neo. Greetings from the Netherlands. Yeah, I was going to do a Neo. Like, the thing about Neo is everybody wants instant gratification. You could buy Lee and you could say, hey, they're making a profit now. They're shipping units now. But I mean, I think BYD basically eats their lunch. I think plenty of other companies can make these, extended range EVs, sort of the hybrid. It's different than a hybrid drive, but basically it's a gasoline engine. I know NIO is supposed to make one in 2026 for the Middle East market due to the lack of infrastructure, but I think NIO brings infrastructure with it. I don't really like that move that much, but I don't understand, charging infrastructure and battery swap infrastructure and how laying that out in the Middle East is going to work. So I assume NIO understands that significantly better than I do. But what they leaked this letter recently with NIO that said, this was kind of their 2-year thing. So there's two things that are absolutely critical: that they become profitable for full year 2026, and that they double their production from 2024 to 2025. So if they're able to do that, that's quite compelling. If you're able to double your production year over year. And the Onvo ramp is on schedule. There's a lot of demand for that product. Excellent product for the money. Premium product without the premium price. Get all the cachet of battery swap. And people don't realize, in terms of the higher priced EVs in China, NIO owns like half that market. Yeah, they're not competing with BYD at the low end, but they have a huge foothold in the higher end. So that name recognition, that cachet is there, and that's going to filter down to Onvo, and I believe it's going to filter down to Firefly, and they're going to sell the hell out of that Firefly throughout the world. That's my opinion. But yeah, I'll do some more NIO. I've been working like a dog, guys. And Sofi too. I want to talk about Sofi because these restatements and stuff. I've been talking about this, how none of the stuff that Sofi had been doing in the pipeline was in their guidance. This this loan platform that generates this fee-based income that's very, very rich, very, very much gravy-based revenue, because it's so rich and takes so much of it to the bottom line, your waistline in my case. But the things so that's just one product. People are like, I saw Tanner's video, I watched some of it. And they're talking about, hey, this is a game changer. This one product they're saying is a game changer, this one platform. By 2026, they could introduce half a dozen such platforms for other things, other types of loans, other consumers. They can put these things together for other companies. SoFi is very unique with Galileo, Technesis, Bank Charter. Everything they can do, that synergy there makes them very, very unique. They do have a moat. They do have a USB. They're an integrated ecosystem. They can do things almost no one else can do. They can do it faster. They can do it better. They can do it more cost effective. I would not sell SoFi here. I know people are trimming. I don't blame you. I mean, the stock's come up off of the fours and it got all the way near, like $16. We could blame you taking some profits, but I think this stock goes way, 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 way up from here. SoFi, again, it can retrace, it can pull back. Very normal, very healthy. You don't want a shooting star pattern. Shooting stars fall hard. We got the great Ben Plumley in the house. Just watched an MSNBC interview. Basically, 10% tariff China. China's EVs are coming to USA. We'll use our labor. Yeah, they'll assemble them here, Ben. I mean, the Germans assemble all their cars here now. The Japanese assemble their cars here. So we're very capable of our workers putting these cars together. The big thing with EVs is like the components, the engineering, how the software works. It's not, who puts the doors on and who puts the brakes on and stuff like that. That's not really an issue. This is something anybody with proper training can accomplish. So yeah, I mean, they're probably going to end up Sandman. Yeah, happy Danny, fellow SoFi sold. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you lose a little bit. Like today I did on a SMIC and Neo, and I'm like, I have to look at my account and look at where I was when SoFi, was just down at like in the high sixes, and then look at where it is today, including it's night and day. I mean, I have to be very, very happy with SoFi. So, but don't be surprised to see a bit of a pullback on SoFi. And people wanting to get in, maybe you'll have a chance. It's definitely not coming back down, crashing down. There's just too much good happening, but they might push it down. Some market makers might want to try to accumulate some shares. DVD, let's POCO, buddy. Let's do it. 3, 2, 1. Let's POCO. Let's see. Sold some SoFi today. Bought hedges. Tariffs are inflationary. Don't want to get eaten out of. Yeah, I mean, it's always good to hedge, I guess. As far as SMIC, Alfredo, I mean, it just depends. I mean, are you short-term trader? I mean, I like this thing to push back up and, cover those 37s for this Friday. I like the stock to go to 44 and then 54. So, if you want to play some calls, you want to, play some cash secured puts, but it's just so volatile. It's hard to put. If you want to be long term, I would just buy shares. That's what I would do. The volatility on options right now is just insane. So you make a lot of money selling options, a lot of premium, but it's a dangerous game. I mean, you're playing with fire. So no, there's a lot of guys out there talking about the actual option strategies they're using. So I'll leave that to people who are more experienced and know more about options than I do. Absolutely, Alfredo. None of this financial advice. It's just my own stupid opinion. So take it for what you will. Take it with a grain of salt and make your own decisions, guys. I know most of you, I'll be like, do your own research. No, you're not going to do that. You're going to be impulsive, dumb hamsters on crack and just do what you're going to do. What is insiders buy 1.5 million shares? Why did the fund buy 500 million hours before the put extension? What did SMCI came out of that paid off debt? I mean, everything you're saying, everything is lining up for this thing to be a monster, a juggernaut going forward in these AI data center space. And I don't think these accounting irregularities are going to change that. So I think if you're willing to be patient, you're willing to, go through the risk, you're willing to go through the dips, accumulate on those dips, this stock could be a game changer for your portfolio. That's what I'm hoping. I don't know. Or, the other shoe could drop. They could arrest everybody. Hey, everybody's fucked. The stock, get totally wiped out. That's what happens. I mean, if you're looking for big reward plays, you're going to have high risk. There's no such thing as a high reward play without risk. It just, if it was, Goldman Sachs would buy it all. We wouldn't even know about it. We wouldn't even be able to buy it. Anytime you have a high reward play, there's going to be a lot of risk involved. That's just the way it is. This turd could go to zero potentially. I mean, if it's bad enough, if it's not just smoke, it's not just fire, but it's like a big dumpster fire, a big diaper on fire. Japanglish, Neo's a 2026 play. Yeah, I mean, man, I've been accumulating this year. It's like too many opportunities to accumulate low. But what was funny to me was when Goldman Sachs hit Neo with that downgrade. I think it was from 480 to 380 or something. That day, there was no real breakdown in the price action. I mean, it went in a very controlled algo manner from like 480 to 460, I think, or 465 or something. So you'd expect on that type of downgrade from Goldman, you'd expect it to drop at least 50 cents, at least 10%. But I think the algo is still in the stock. The algo was on Neo today. So it didn't just like break down and free fall at all. But no, I agree. The CEO just said profit in 2026. SoFi didn't go up until well after they started making a profit. The Rumpelstiltskin verbiage, the Homer of equity, the Fats domino. My man, for me, SoFi long, little Neo. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think I used to say I had 5 times as much SoFi as Neo, but it's probably more like 10 times because Neo has gone down and SoFi has gone way up. So, yeah, I mean, in retrospect, I wish I was all in SoFi, but it just doesn't work like that because you don't know when moves are going to happen. You don't know when news is going to come. But yeah, I definitely Neo being a much pre-profit Chinese stock with faces fierce competition, could go to zero, could go under, could be eaten alive, taken over, put out of business. I see very, very little risk of SoFi going out of business or going to zero, like almost none. So I think the risk with SoFi is far overblown, and with Neo there is a lot of risk. That's why the stock's in the toilet. Caught the live at 2:49 a.m. Nice, yeah. BX, lucky you. SoFi hits 12. I'm in for another 1,200. Yeah, if SoFi hits 12, I'll load a ton of shares. I don't think it's going back anywhere near 12. No, I think the number's going up. Yeah, I just, Alfredo, I mean, here's the problem with options like this. It's like, it's very enticing because you get leverage and you think, oh, I'm going to get rich. They don't make it that easy. If too many of us buy calls, they kill the calls, or they go long on calls themselves and they kind of, beat us to the punch. There's all kinds of ways that market makers can play options and play a stock to take money from retail. Now, if you just buy shares and you hold those shares and you say long term, this thing is going to be a monster, there's really nothing they can do to treat you or kill you. They can drive the shares down short term, but if you're smart and you just buy more, you beat them at their own game. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of buying shares and then selling, covered calls against those shares in periods where you think there's, going to be less volatility. It's a very basic strategy, but it's served me very well over time. Sam, I think my girl lives to watch your videos. Shower out, please. And I can't even pronounce Annalise, Mrs. Sand Is that Sand E-Man Inc.? I don't even, I can't understand anything. I can't think. I might be stupid. I might be old, fat, and stupid. It's a horrible way to go through life. But anyway, shout out to ANIECE, phonetically spelled. Anais. Anais. And I have no idea. Star Anise. Yeah, no, Goldman's completely full of shit. This is obviously to hit. I would be shocked if market makers weren't buying this dip. I mean, same exact thing they did on Sofi. You saw it in the filings like Q3. They all downgraded. Morgan Fudley downgraded, and they were buying. Held GME and Sofi for 3 years. Yeah, there you go, man. You know, 2/3 report SoFi, agree almost zero risk. Yeah, I don't have that type of confidence to put 2/3 of my portfolio, but still have most of my Microsoft, still my number one holding. I've held that stock since the 90s. But SoFi, I think, actually is higher than Tesla. I think it's my second largest holding now, just because the value went up so much and I'd been buying the dips so hard. So there you go. Star Anise is definitely right. John Bland Jovi, what's going on, guys? Yeah, this broadcast is going nowhere fast, like super micro stock, but I actually think this thing could make a huge push up again tomorrow. I mean, yeah, it came back a couple of dollars after it went up $20. Came back about 20%. It's perfect to leg up again. So you have to watch the volume. You have to see how it goes. But I think they could have, could have been just basically getting retail out, getting, market makers in for the next push up, that third leg up. Time will tell, guys. You got it, man. Hey, hopefully, it's the implication. You get Danny Deals to mention me. You got to get some sweet action. Tell the missus, wake up the missus. Danny Deals is on. No, it's like I've killed. I can't work. I can't work too blue on this program. I forget. There's kids and women with delicate sensibilities watching. That's a joke, guys. That's a joke. Anyway, so would like to thank you and all your spouses, significant others, partners for watching. Blah blah blah. Would I buy Supermicro? I will, if I were you, no. Me, yes, you do. Me, do you know? I forget that line from Caddyshack. I wouldn't buy this turd, but I would buy it. You know what I mean? Know what I mean? No, I would buy it, but I'm stupid. I do stupid shit. I buy penny stocks. I buy, old stupid buildings that are being held together by termites. I do a lot of stupid things. Some of them work out great. Some of them work out horribly. I would buy Neo here. I would buy Supermicro here. I would probably wait for a little bit of a pullback with SoFi, but I don't know if that'll come. And if you want to own the stock long term, you have to buy, when you can, which is now. It can always run away from you. It already be like, well, it just doubled. It has to pull back. It doesn't have to. I mean, this stock just doubled. Does it have to keep pulling back? No. A lot of people like me think it's worth 54. Think it's worth 100. A lot of people think it's worth 150. I mean, it's profitable. It's going to get more profitable. We just have to see how much of that is lies and subterfuge and bullshit. Time will tell. The feds are in there looking. So anyway, guys, it's SMCI. I talked a little SoFi. I talked a little Neo. Yeah, I think these tariffs are just bad for everybody. I think they slow down the economy. Horrible for farmers. I don't know, man. It's like, hey, need to put huge tariffs on Canada. I don't know, man. Stupid. Anyway, guys, hope you all have a great night, and I'll talk to you soon.